So right now we have this GDP measurement that we made up 100 years ago, and it's leading us in the wrong directions. So as your president, I'm just going to go down the street to the Bureau of Economic Analysis and say, hey, GDP, 100 years old, kind of out of date. Let's modernize it and include things like our children's health and success, which is tied to climate change. Clean air and clean water, obviously tied to our environment. Our health and life expectancy, tied to climate change. Mental health and freedom from substance abuse. All the things that we care about, we actually make the new measurements of economic progress. And while this sounds almost too good to be true, it's very straightforward. You don't even need Congress for this. You have the Bureau of Economic Analysis, they have their measurements. You say, guess what? New measurement, American scorecard includes these things. And this way we can actually put environmental sustainability into our actual quote unquote GDP measurement. Now, this is something you can do very, very quickly, and it's very powerful because you can't make progress if you don't have a baseline. And right now, we have three measurements for our economic progress if you turn on CNBC and the rest of it. It's GDP, which again is going the opposite direction of life expectancy. So which do you listen to? Stock market prices, which correspond to the fortunes of the top 20% of Americans. And headline unemployment rate, which is grossly misleading because it does not include people that are dropping out of the workforce, or people who are discouraged, or underemployed, or doing gig work. And so these three numbers are giving us a falsely positive impression of how we're doing. If you dig a little bit deeper, you start finding all of the problems. And so as president, I would update our measurements. And this would have a huge effect on us being able to make progress on climate change.
Because you'd suddenly see something different. Right now you have the president coming out and touting unemployment numbers, stock market performance, and GDP. So if a Martian showed up and said, oh, these are your measurements, you're doing very, very well. You're saying change how we look at how we are doing as a society and an economy, and suddenly we'll get a different reading and we'll say, we're in trouble?
Yeah, exactly. Where right now, if you were to have pipes that are poisoning kids, that actually shows up positively in GDP.